Good morning, all of you. Today, let's go to some of the important idioms in English which are related to heart. In the case of English, we have hundreds of idioms which we often encounter in day to day conversations or reading materials. And there are hundreds of idioms in English which we ought to know, which will make our language quite rich and colorful. Let me take you to some of the frequently used hard idioms in English, and I will give the almost equivalent of these idioms in Malayalam also. And the first idiom I would like to introduce is break somebody's heart. And the idiom means to make somebody feel very unhappy. In day to day life, you may have behavior on the part of people very close to you. And when you try to react against it, that may end up in the other person being very sad. A close equivalent of this English idiom in Malayalam can be Dukkathilazhuga. And there are three examples given. Sometimes you take some strong decisions in your life, and the decision can make others unhappy. So her decision to break up the relationship broke his heart. Broke his heart in the sense of made him very, very unhappy. Exams are part of your life, and sometimes exam results bring you happiness or sadness. When exam result is very poor, it of course breaks your heart. So poor score in the exam broke her heart. And when you get angry with someone, even though the person is very close to you, very dear to you, your words can hurt him or hurt her. So the harsh words from the boss broke my heart. The second heart idiom I have taken is heart and soul. Heart and soul in the sense of with the whole or complete energy and passion or belief a person has, or without any kind of reservations. A near equivalent for this idiom in Malayalam is Manasa Vaja Karmana, or Purnamayam, completely. Sometimes your teachers or your employers give you certain task to do. You may do the task, or you may do a project, you may do a homework with your heart and soul into it. Means by completely involving yourself or completely dedicating yourself into doing the work. And this is what the idiom means. And if you like something very much, naturally you will have a tendency to throw yourself completely into it. Means to dedicate your concentration, your actions, your mind, and everything. So, in such a context, we use this. She put her heart and soul into her dance class. And Rahul supported her heart and soul in the competition. So, when you support something, or when you support somebody, heart and soul, you really dedicate yourself to the thing or for the person. And you support him not only in words, but in actions and in all means that you can. And this is the meaning of heart and soul. And this is a very good idiom. It has an idiomatic equivalent in Malayalam as well. Manasa Vaja Karmana. And the third heart idiom I chose is in your heart of hearts. And its meaning is in one's innermost feelings, or in one's inmost feelings, or deep down inside. In life, on many occasions, you take a decision, but close inside or in the innermost recesses of your mind, you may have certain concerns about the decisions. You may have doubts about the decisions. And there are some occasions when you take a decision from the innermost part of your mind, there comes a feeling that what you do is not right, or this is not the right decision for you to take at this particular time. And in Malayalam, there is a close equivalent for this English idiom, ullinte ulli. She knew in her heart of hearts that she was making the wrong decision. Even though she took the decision, at the bottom of her heart, there was something against it. So, this is in your heart of heart. And everybody, when you do something wrong or when you do something, people may blame you. But in spite of all their blames in the heart of your hearts, you may have a feeling that I will succeed. My perception will be proved later on. And when some people come to you and speak something or tell you something, either you believe it completely or you believe it partially. When you believe it partially means in the heart of your hearts, you doubt it. And this is the idiom. And the next one is a change of heart, which means a change of attitude. In Malayalam, an equivalent for this idiom is manam matam, a change of heart, change of attitude. In life, we maintain certain attitudes towards some people or some situations, some topics, some things, but our attitude doesn't always remain the same. In the course of time, it gets changed. A person who decided not to get married soon may have a change of heart due to circumstances or due to situations taking place around him or her. So Roshan did not want to get married, but recently he has had a change of heart. I hope that he might have a change of heart in the near future. At home, you ask your parents or brother and sister to do something which they object, which they hesitate to do, and they don't do it. But in the heart of your hearts, you may have a hope that they will have a change of heart either tomorrow or after a few days. Or when you have some issues eating away your heart, you go to a person for consultation, especially for some counseling sessions. And after the counseling session, you may have a complete change of heart. And the next one, take something to heart. To be very upset or hurt by something someone said or did. This happens in life most of the time. People around you will tell you something. Sometimes it can be criticism, sometimes it can be something that you don't like. Sometimes it can be about your character or the kind of language you used or the kind of things that you did. Or it can be a kind of misunderstanding also. So, in such cases, when somebody tells you something very harsh, or when somebody gets angry with you, they may use some words. And those words, sometimes people or you or people tend to take those words to heart, to their heart. Take something to heart in Malayalam means karyamakuga. And people often say, I'm sorry I used some very harsh, rough words. Please forget everything and don't take those words to your heart. Don't take those words to heart. Means just forget about it. Karyamakanda. You shouldn't take everything he says to heart. Sometimes your boss or senior officer might have got angry with you, might have even given you some warnings. Then your colleague may come and tell you, please don't take his words to heart. That's his nature. And in your life, you might have seen people around you who are very critical of everything, some kind of fault finders. And you did something great, but your boss was a fault finder and he criticized it, only looking at its negative sides. Then you went to him with a lot of hope and you come back highly broken hearted, or the words that he told broke your heart. Then your colleague comes and says, you know that guy, the kind of personality he is. Don't take his criticism to heart. And when you get angry with people, or when you have some kind of a verbal duel or quarrel or disagreement with people, sometimes people threaten you, I will do this and I will do that. And people who are very, very positive to life don't take criticism or threats to heart. And the next idiom is again very interesting, to your heart's content, as much as you want. And in Malayalam, there is a very interesting expression to mean this particular idiom in English. In Malayalam, we use the expression Madivaruvolam, Manasaranye, Madivaruvolam. ഞാൻ മനസ്സറിഞ്ഞ് ഭക്ഷണം കഴിച്ചത് ഇന്നാണ്. As much as you want. And children often like to run wild, to run around. Whenever they get a very vast empty space, they like to play there a lot of time. And it will be very hard for you to pull them off from the area or to take you along with you once you go back home. And such places, and there are certain places set up in parks, in malls, where children can play to their heart's content, means as much as they like. And sometimes you get sick. You are not able to eat the things that you loved eating before. Once you recover from your illness, sometimes you ate a meal or you ate something which is very, very favorite to you as much as you want. Or you can say that it's the first time I eat this particular dish to my heart's content after I recovered from my illness. Or if you are traveling and if you are keeping away from home or even your region, some of the food items that you get outside may not make you satisfied or at least mentally happy. And in such a case, there are people who often complain that during the journey I couldn't eat to my heart's content. And there are some poems or some stories which you like to read again and again. And sometimes when a teacher takes a poem or a lesson in the class, and if you like the poem or a particular story, you want the teacher to take it again and again, or you wanted to read it again and again. And sometimes teachers says, please stop, please move on to the next. Sometimes teacher tells you, okay, take some more time and try to read the poem to your heart's content. Pour out your heart to somebody, to tell somebody all your problems, feelings, etc. In Malayalam, there is a very close equivalent to this English idiom, and we call it in Malayalam, or we say it in Malayalam, മനസ്സ് തുറക്കുക. ആദ്യമായിട്ട് അവൾ എന്നോട് മനസ്സ് തുറന്നു. In the sense of tell all your problems, feelings, secrets, and private matters to somebody very close to you. And in life, with partners or with your close friends, there can be temporary breakups or a kind of estrangement taking place, and all these kinds of temporary breakups or tiff in life between you and your partner or close friends. These kinds of tiffs often are solved by pouring out your heart to the other person. When you tell all your hidden feelings, all the emotions that were hunting you or haunting you for a long time, or your worries and concerns about the other person quite openly to him or her, your heart gets relieved and it may result in building up the relationship stronger again. So finally, he broke down in tears and poured out his heart to her. And there was a kind of misunderstanding between them, and the guy decided to pour out his heart to her in order to solve, in order to patch up all the issues in them or all the misunderstandings between them. At the time of reunion, a temporary separation or unexpected separations can creep in the relationships. But once people try to pour out their heart to the other person, again reunion may come and the relationship can become very strong. So, at the time of reunion, people who were separated for a long time decided to pour out their hearts to each other. Though I was not so close to her, and I have seen many people in my life who are not very close to you, but even after being familiar with them for a short span of time, they tend to pour out their heart to me. And you might have also come across people like that in your life. And the last idiom related to heart is sob your heart out. In Malayalam, again, there is a beautiful expression which is a close equivalent to this one, Hridayam Putti Vidumbuga. To cry noisily for a long time because you are very sad. Again, in life, there comes many occasions in our day-to-day life or in the course of living where you will have disagreements with people, or you may misunderstand people, or others may misunderstand you. And she flung herself at his chest and sobbed her heart out. And there was a misunderstanding between them, and they were living apart. And once they poured their heart out, the disagreement was solved. They could understand each other better, and they hugged each other. During the course of hugging, she sobbed her heart out. Then in life, we go to camping, or especially students do camping in some places, and as they live together, they get very, very closer to one another. But when the final day of camping comes, they can't control their emotions because they have grown that much closer to one another. And quite often, as a teacher, I have seen on the final day of camping students sobbing their heart out, cry noisily for a long time because they are very, very sad about the impending separation. When you see the sight of some natural calamities, hundreds of people getting dead or severely wounded, some people sob their heart out. They cry noisily for a long time, pitying for or sympathizing with those victims. So these are the heart idioms that I would like to introduce in this video lesson. Thank you so much for listening to me.